What's up, guys? It's Mass here, YuGiOh. Today we're going to talk about Noble Knights, and we're going to talk about some Yu-Gi-Oh basics, how to make a deck more competitive, and alright, let's get started. So first thing we're going to talk about, combo starters and combo extenders. So first, combo starters are going to be your Merlin, your Boars, your Brothers, and Madrat. So when you're playing this deck, or any deck in general, you're going to have something that really gets your combos going. And for this deck, it's these monsters right here. So what Merlin does is when you summon out Merlin, he can bring out a Noble Knight monster from your deck. Now when you do that, he can get ashed, he can get veilered, so you have to be careful of that. I am only running him at 2 right now, and I'm play testing online with the new Noble Knight support, the Flame Noble Knights. I think they added a lot to the deck, so, but I do think that you need the OG Noble Knights. So anyway, Merlin, what's cool about him is if he's in the graveyard, he can quick effect special summon an IXZ or a Synchro from your deck. So you get a free, well, not a free, but you have to use monsters on your field. But basically, if your opponent does something, he quick effects to get them special summoned quicker. So can't get ashed. That's the only problem with him. Madrat's your main combo starter. In order to get him going, you do need to have a Noble Arms card that equips to him. Usually the combo is Madrat and Boars. But Boars can be a combo starter on its own. And one of the last combo starters pretty much for this deck is Noble Knight Brothers. Special summons up 2 other Noble Knight monsters, and I feel with the new support, it's even better because some of the Flame Noble Knights clog in your hand, and it would just be a lot better to get them on the field than have them in your hand. So now let's talk about a combo extender. Okay, so in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, you have your combo starter, and you have a combo extender. So normally decks want to run 2 to 3 for their combo starter. If your combo starter is really good, you're going to want to run 3 copies. If your combo extender is really good, I feel like 2 is usually the max, depending on if it's like hard once per turn. But Cutsinen's effect says you can special summon him if you control a Noble Arms card. So he would become a free special summon if you have a Noble Arms on the field. The only problem is you can only special summon him like that once per turn. So that kind of ruins wanting to run 3 of him, because you don't usually want to see more than 1 in your hand. Another thing that's important in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is card searchers. What makes the deck meta, or what makes the deck really really competitive, is the consistency at which you can access your combos. So this card acts as both a Noble Knight and a Noble Arms card. This card acts as a Noble Knight. So basically you have 4 extra copies of each Noble Knight in your deck, and you have 3 extra copies of each Noble Arms, which actually, give me 1 second, I should have Glory of the Noble Knights out here, but I don't. That's also a searcher for your Noble Arms cards. Give me a second. There we are. Sorry about that. So, we have Glory of the Noble Knights, which says you can target a Noble Arms monster you control, or Noble Knight monster you control, equip it with 1 Noble Arms spell from your deck. Oh, I just realized it says you can target 1 Noble Knight you control, equip it with 1 equip spell from your deck. So it doesn't have to be a Noble Arms. That's interesting. I always just use Noble Arms, but that's interesting. So anyway, you have searchers. Having your deck, if your deck has enough searchability, it's going to be more consistent, because then you could play lesser amounts of cards that you need to get your combos going. The only thing is these all can be ashed. That's the only problem. So that's why running something like Called by the Grave is still important. Boars. What was I gonna say with Boars? Sorry. Boars is both a combo starter and a combo extender, so he's kind of weird. I play 2 of him. He's kind of in the both category, because if you draw him by himself and a Noble Arms card, he gets your combo started. But if you draw him with something like Brothers, he just becomes extender. So there does come a time where a card could be considered both. And next we're going to talk about another thing that's very important to any deck that's going to be competitive or meta. And I'm not calling Noble Knights meta, but I do think going forward they're going to be a little bit more competitive. We have Morgan, the Enchantress of Avalon. I can't even talk. So what this thing does is when your opponent activates a card effect while you control a Noble Knight monster and a Noble Arms, you can send the Noble Arms to the graveyard and negate the effect. So going forward, I'm playing this deck as a go first, and the strategy is to get out the new Flame Noble Knight Emperor Charles, and then equip him with the Flame Noble Knights, and try to make a big tower that can't be destroyed. Only problem is you can get evenly matched. You can get Lightning Stormed, Regeki'd. Super Poly can be a big no-no, and Nibiru. But this right here helps. One, because most of my end boards are 4 to 5 equips. Having her in the hand is 10 times better, because you can negate without having it on the board. And you don't have to worry about running, like, if you play Called by the Grave, you're going to want to set it in your end phase in case your opponent wants to play something from the grave. But it kind of sucks, because then you're kind of like clogged up. So let's talk about some extra deck monsters. So versatility in the extra deck is pretty important. Isolde is good in any warrior deck. She's seen a lot of play since, 2018, 2017, whenever she came out. Mainly because she, one, a searcher, and special summons a warrior. So it's 2 good things. Versatile. Cutscene. I think this card is a lot better than a lot of people do, because it returns things to the hand. So say you're going up against a deck of, I don't know, say for example something that can't be destroyed or destroyed by battle or card effect. Simply return it to the hand, nice and easy. Artorias pops 1 monster on the field, and he's pretty much your Twin Twister on legs. So having versatile monster effects definitely helps your deck, and I think that's what a lot of meta decks usually have, is versatile monster effects. Or, you know, if they run staples in the deck to help fill in the spots where maybe their deck lacks. Like maybe your deck lacks card destruction. Maybe your deck lacks returning something to hand. Maybe it lacks a summon sorceress. You know what I mean? It's all personal preference. So stay tuned for the Noble Knight deck profile. That's going to be coming probably not too soon. Waiting on the rest of the support, which I don't think it comes out till August 7th, so we're a little bit far away. But yeah, Noble Knights are sick.